Assalamu alaikum. This is Pasha, the author of the Double Cross. Still trying to inform you about the double cross being a metaphor. I have a question. Did you see last week the protests in Miami, Texas, and other states around the country over the ignorant racist governors banning schools in the entire state from teaching the real black history of America, race theory, and any other true narrative of what took place with us here in America and all the inhumane treatment done to us by the white barbarian? They don't want us knowing their system and all the triggers and mechanisms planted throughout America to alert them to our awakening and those put in place to keep us in our place. The biggest must-haves are to keep us ignorant, not knowing, and to keep us killing ourselves mentally, spiritually, and physically. As I said, they hide in plain sight. In the governor's mansion, in the federal and state legislators, Congress, the Senate, and the presidency. Ask yourself a common sense question. Why don't they want us learning our true history and theirs? I'll tell you why. It's because it unlocks all the doors and reveals all their dirty, rotten secrets, their butchery. And once you learn about all the foul shit done to us, to our people, you will loathe these people like most of us do, who have already learned who he is and what he has done. He would do anything to keep us worshiping him, looking up to him. He doesn't want us learned because we will find out how he has lied to us and trained us to fear him with physical and psychological torture to break us down mentally and spiritually. He has forced us to believe in him and to follow him. Like I said, it was a process to get our people where they are now mentally, spiritually, and physically today. And why so much emphasis on the blacks? Attempting to keep us down. Why us? It's because he knows that we are the seed, that we are the fathers. We gave birth to the brown, the red, the yellow, and the process that turns some white and barbaric. Like Carmen said, when we move, the whole world follows in our path. Have you ever read about the prophet Daniel in the Bible? You should, because when he was taken into captivity and made a servant, he refused to accept three things about his imprisonment. One, the changing of his religion. Two, the changing of his name. Remember, your essence should be your name. And three, his diet. This is actually where our enslavers, the Europeans, got the idea to use food as a tool in their slave-making process. They gave us slop, intestines, feet, tails, and tongues. Destroying the temple God has commanded us to always hold in high regard. Now we can't stop ourselves from eating that mess. It's a holiday meal. They changed our worship of one God into the worship of a Trinity in blasphemy against the Creator. And of course, they stole our essence, our power, with the change of our names. They don't want you learning this either. Now, let me tell you one of the real reasons why they did not want to take the signs down, white only, and end segregation everywhere in the country. It's because they did not want you knowing how contagious they are. Not all, just those from the Black Plague infested parts of Europe. Most had built up enzymes within themselves over decades and centuries within their bodies that made them now immune among themselves, but was deadly to others. Millions of people, entire nations were wiped out by just saying hello because of a smallpox virus they carried inside them. When desegregation became the law of the land here in America, all the black school-age children suddenly had to go to the nearest health clinic around the country for a series of documented shots, and so did the adults. You remember that? So that just sitting by Tom and Jane and Dick in the classroom would not infect and kill us. Prior to desegregation or daily contact with whites, measles, chicken pox, colds, and flus were rare in our communities here and not known globally. But through miseducation, they played this up like it was the norm for everyone. They purposely infected people in the motherland with Ebola so that they would believe that we are the source of the plague and not them. If you recall, when AIDS first gripped the country, the white scientists reported that disease from the AIDS came from green monkeys in Africa, a place 99.9% of those with the virus here in America have never even visited. Yeah, the monkey did it from Africa instead of secret tests conducted by white government scientists, or the divine curse of God for men unnaturally putting their penis inside another man's butthole. The Creator destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for this. They were men too. They don't want us learning about the history of the filth they openly lived in and carried around the world, poisoning the temples of everyone that came in contact with them. Why do you think that during the COVID epidemic, blacks died at alarming rates versus whites? It's because their immune system, after centuries of multiple plagues, many times more deadly than COVID, neutralized the virus inside them. It's why President Trump hesitated for months to inform the country that the virus was here and to create a vaccine immediately. When AIDS devastated the country, blacks were again unevenly affected. The drug ACT prolonged the lives of whites, but accelerated the death of blacks for two reasons. The first, I've already stated, is the buildup of the plague-infested European immune system. The second is the fact that over 99% of all drugs, cough syrups, whatever, are brought to market by testing with white test mice. This is important because they lack the melon molecule that is found in every person of color. The melon molecule is an energy conduct. Without it in the testing phase of the drugs brought to market with the use of black or brown test animals, the medicines and drugs created in the lab from white lab mice, rats, and rabbits, etc., don't work for us. The scientists and the pharmaceutical company executives around the country know this, but they don't tell us that these drugs don't work for us. I think we pay exorbitant rates and prices for them. They were not created for us. They affect us adversely and kill us. Why do you think the rates of death for hospital visits for blacks versus whites is 5 times higher? It's why most diabetes drugs, cholesterol drugs, high blood pressure drugs, and cancer drugs are not effective for us in most cases. Rates of death from these illnesses are 5 to 8 times higher than whites. They don't want us educated to this. They don't want us knowing this is the double cross. If you really take a close look at the white man, you see how really corny he is. What if he hadn't discovered gunpowder in China? What if he had no control of the laws, the judges, the governor's mansion, the FBI, CIA, the presidency? What if he didn't own all the major corporations, Ford, GM, Wall Street, and all the major banks? Where would he be? And do you see how far we have to go? Do you see how he has fortified himself and enriched himself in a capitalist society that he created? We have already wasted too much time. He doesn't want us to know that history. He wants us to believe that he created greatness for the world and for us. That he was the prophets of God and not us. He and his cartoon childish perverted mind created Dick and Jane, a book for children, where Jane is always telling Dick to come, Dick, come, see Spot or the Spot, and Moby Dick, the great white whale, another perverted fantasy of his. Somehow, a white man gets lost in the jungle And he, the white man, becomes Tarzan, the king of the jungle. The white man lands somehow in China, and he is the last samurai. He lands in Egypt, and he is Moses. He lands somehow in Judea, and he becomes Jesus, the Son of God, the Son of the Creator of everything you see, taste, hear, and smell in this world, everything. The sea, stars, sun, moon, trees, lions, fly, ants. He is his son. Too funny. Are you seeing this fool for who he really is? Are you seeing this fool for who he really is? Education in America is failing because of all the foolish, racist, illogical lies created by the white man to glorify himself. The real thinkers, the descendants of real kings and queens in the province of God, have been purposely marginalized and kept forced out of the game. The imposter, the one that has taken our place, has gone to great lengths to make us believe that it's not us, that it is him and him only. He purposely, repeatedly belittled us, our intelligence, and the way we look. So much so that we created poisons to bleach our skin. Ain't that crazy? We actually wanted to be white. And we walked into the store today and purchased that shit like it's normal. Yo, give me 6 tubes of Ambi. He was behind the creation of the Jerry curl and the straightening of our hair. He belittled the way we walk and talk. And don't forget, he beat us, murdered us, cut off our hands and feet for attempting to learn to read and write. Why? Why would they do this? It's because they did not want us learning who they really are. They do not want us learning how they devastated and obliterated the true kingship, nor the method they implemented to miseducate us. So much so that today, most blacks are confused. They hate themselves, worship graven images of the one responsible for enslaving us and destroying our entire history prior to enslavement, to the point where we have no idea of what to call ourselves. Colored, Afro-American, nigger, Negro, black. Who are we? And why are we so lost? This is the double cross. Do you know what an antagonistic condition is? It's a condition purposely created as an adversary to normal living. It affects every function of the body, primarily the mind, which affects the body's stress centers, which depletes the body, creating abnormal diseases. It destroys the spirit and leads to mental illness. Now, most of us have never heard of an antagonistic condition and are not aware of its function nor its being purposely created. Though we live and run all our lives in projects, run-down empty communities with liquor stores on every corner instead of grocery stores with fruits and vegetables, rotten, abandoned buildings and homes, trash thrown all over the sidewalks and streets, and we walk by it every day, not realizing that we are fighting a battle we've already lost and given up on. One, put in place to create losers, low self-esteem, unrestricted breathing without the responsibility, early death, and fear. Now, what could be more devilish than that? Whites have a saying, if you want to keep something from a nigga, put it in a book. Have you heard this? Yes, it's true. We are partly to blame. We don't spend time educating ourselves, but that too is partly their fault. The antagonistic environment that we are forced to live in won't allow us the time to read and study. And this has worked in their favor and still does. We are kept ignorant of so many facts of life because of this setup, especially those that teach us who our Father in heaven is. We have to rely on the pimp in the pulpit to feed us our daily bread void of true nourishment. But what if we suddenly awakened to the true history and race theory? What if we were awakened to the knowing of who we are and the greatness of our race? What if we picked up the trash and garbage in our streets? What if we collectively tore down the old buildings and houses and built new ones? What if we opened clinics in our communities to deal with the mental health created by the antagonistic environment? What if we collectively got together and worked out all our problems and learned to love and value our Black life? What if we kicked all the crack, heroin, meth, and fentanyl dealers out of our communities or sent them to jail? Hey, they simply have to find another hustle or get a job. All this would act as an antidote to the poisoning we've been made to swallow, the antagonistic environment. Education, the knowing, is the key. Join in the fight. This is the double cross. Assalamu alaikum.